a lot of what I took when I was, reading the book and learning about, the five components is it really is it seems that you're connecting a lot of that intuitive capability to the nervous system in general. And, one of the things you bring up, of course, is the importance of the vagus nerve, which right now is getting a lot of attention. The last 3 medical conventions I was at really honed in on this, hey, information superhighway. That's
wow.
And I was like, oh, wow, this is cool because, it's important. We've been talking about the vagus nerve and how it's so critical to health overall and understanding that, yes, a lot of information is in your body. But if it's not running correctly and not, sending the right information to the right parts of the body or something stopping that, then you're going to have dysfunction in the body and disease. But talk about how the vagus nerve is really so important and critical for intuition.
Well, okay. The 3 main areas that I feel, based upon my experience, seeing, feeling, hearing, right? So the vagus nerve will transfer information, but also feelings. If you hear something, if someone's talking and you somehow sense that what you're hearing is not correct, then you're going to be identifying with the fact that you can hear through your intuition. Your intuition has a strength of hearing. Feeling, right? Where do we feel in our body?
The heart.
Our heart. And where do we sense in our body?
Well, our skin, right?
Skin and our stomach.
Stomach too.
Right?
The gut feeling.
The gut feeling. The stomach has so many neurons that are attached to the entire vagus nerve, running up to the brain, running back down, running up to the brain. And our stomach is our center of self-confidence, self-esteem. That's why when we're talking to someone and they become uncomfortable, they're going to put their arms over their stomach or their heart. They don't do it intentionally. It's something that they are trying to protect whatever the conversation is with their feelings about it, right? And so seeing, feeling, and hearing, those are the areas of the body that are going to accumulate the senses of the intuition. And most often the heart and the stomach are the weakest areas of what we feel and what is connected to our ability to have self-confidence, self-awareness, self-esteem, right? And so when you look at the vagus nerve and your stomach's constantly in turmoil or imbalanced, inability to accept nutrition, and it could be in various ways, we know that that's our weak part of our body, which if it's a weak part of our body, it's a weak part of us as a human being. Our self-esteem, self-assurance, self-awareness, how we see ourselves in life, how we think other people see us, which is not always the truth, then we're going to have the vagus nerve working overtime because the stomach has so many impulses, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so the importance is more, yes, having an understanding of the vagus nerve. First, the industry now in medicine and science, I've heard that they are now paying closer attention so that they can also explore some of those avenues to be of benefit to humanity. Understanding the vagus nerve and understanding that there are neurons in the body. We need to understand that just because we have a thought and then we don't have it anymore, that doesn't really matter because you've just injected that thought that's now running through the vagus nerve that basically controls the organs, everything about the human body, right? One thing that I want to talk about, if I may, is a lot of times people feel that anxiety is a weakness or an illness. I'm not saying it's not, but what I've learned in my practice is that anxiety can sometimes be an indication of your body's sensory system telling you you're in danger, you need to be aware. Is this a pattern you're repeating? You need to pause, right? Whereas anxiety became such a monumental illness of mental health that I feel in the next 5 or 10 years, medicine is going to understand that at times people need to have their anxiety explored. Why do you have anxiety during certain situations? Why does your anxiety perhaps help you as opposed to hinder how you operate in life? I wanted to bring that up because I'm actually writing a book about anxiety and the sensory system. I think people need to realize that it's not always a weakness. It's your connection, and you're feeling it differently because there's already a weakness in your body, and it's going to send that adrenaline, which when you take a step back, it's better to look at the environment that you're operating in.
Yeah, it's interesting because, some could make the kind of connection. Anxiety sometimes could be like a spidey sense, right? It's almost showing you that's what Spider-Man would have, almost an anxiety ridden and flash that something bad's coming, and it come and but we try and shut that down. We don't want to be anxious. We want to, we subdue it. We get on medication very easily, and it seems that now you're hearing a lot more children, of course, are ending up in the ER basically for mental health and terrible anxiety.